G'day, I'm Paul. There is nothing I like more than a 5-cylinder turbocharged petrol engine, especially one that has an RS3 badge on it. This is the 3rd generation Audi RS3, and I'll run you through a couple of the changes and why I like it so much very shortly. But this competes with things like the BMW M2, the Mercedes-AMG A45S, and then also kind of the Volkswagen Golf R as well. This is priced from just over $90,000. There is a sedan version of this available in Australia as well. Today we're going to do a detailed review of this car, so if you do want to skip ahead to other parts of the review, you can use the time codes on the screen, or if you're on YouTube, you can scroll down and use the chapters below. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to our channel, press the bell icon. That way you'll find out every single time we drive a taxi-coloured car. Let's talk about the exterior first. So you've got 8 colours to pick from. They're all free of charge, yay. Now, in addition to that, there are a number of options you can get with the RS3. This has some of them fitted. I'll point out whatever I notice, but the other complicating part is that because of chip shortages and all this other stuff, some stuff that's meant to be on this car isn't on this car. So yeah, before you put your money down, just make sure you're getting what you're going to be getting. So down the front here, let's have a look at this first. So big black grille. I love this blacked out Audi logo instead of it being chrome. RS3 badge over there as well. And you'll notice here, there's meant to be a camera there, but there isn't because chip shortages. You can see also this engine loves a bit of cooling. With the Dynamic Plus package, which this car has fitted, it will do 290 kilometers an hour, which is up from 250 if you don't have that package fitted. So you have to have a fair bit of cooling when the engine is churning out that much power to keep it moving at 290. I do love as well all of these big inlets over here for cooling too. They really just give this a gnarly appearance when it's approaching you. The other thing I love as well, it's going to be hard to show you, but these headlights, the start sequence when you unlock the car, this little thing on the side here is an 8-bit graphic, and it comes up with RS3 when it unlocks, which I reckon is pretty cool. Over on the rest of the headlights, so you have Matrix LED. Again, not available at the moment because chip shortages, but that's what it is. Daytime LED running light there as well. Then we'll whip around to the side. So you get a set of 19-inch alloy wheels. Again, love that black finish on there. Now, let's talk about brakes, because this car has that Dynamic Plus package, and as a part of that you get carbon ceramic brakes, and they look so cool under there. So 380mm rotor, 6-piston calipers. Even if you don't get the carbon ceramic package, I think they're still 375mm on a steel rotor, so they still look nice and imposing under that wheel. So up the top here, you'll see the start of the carbon package. So this is all carbon fiber, and that is, again, an optional package you can get on the RS3. I reckon it looks awesome here with this yellow color. Indicator built into there, and typically you would have the rest of the 360 camera under there, but it doesn't exist. Cooling off to the side here. I love how this is flared as well. So as part of this 3rd generation RS3, the track has become wider, and what you'll notice at the front there is that the front tyres are actually wider than the rear tyres. So 265mm wide tyres at the front, but 245 at the rear, so slightly staggered setup there, and you can really notice that sort of extra bulk to the front of it, especially compared to something like an S3, which still looks pretty aggressive as it is. More carbon down the bottom here as it follows along the side of the car. Privacy glass. Come around to the back, I'll show you the rear. More carbon up the top here. Love that. Shark fin aerial. More of those black badges as well. RS3 down there. And then the dual exhaust pipes that are actually quad exhaust pipes if you have a closer look. Full LED tail lights as well. So love this design. I think this looks so nice and aggressive out on the road. And these have a lot of respect. People know not to mess with an RS3 out on the road. And sorry the car's so dirty. This weather is insane. It's like bucketing down one day, really hot the next day, humid. So anyway, you can't keep a car clean. So let me know what you reckon about the design in the comments section below. So we are inside the RS3. This is what the key looks like. You've got lock, boot, unlock, Audi, and then on the back you have RS. This is a proximity sensing key, and then once you're inside the cabin, you have the push button start down here. So let's talk about the design. I was kind of okay with how all this looked when this was a $70,000, $80,000 car. Now that it's $90,000 odd and this has like 10, 15 grand worth of options on it, I just reckon it looks a little bit low rent in comparison to the A45 and the new M2 as well. And given this has only just been updated to the 3rd gen, I would have thought they'd kind of go all out with that. So look, the materials are good, but yeah, it's just sort of, I don't know, lots of piano black, and some of the scratchy stuff in the center here and on the doors just isn't fantastic. So anyway, outside of that though, I mentioned the materials. It's kind of firm here on the center and firm on the door as well, but it provides ample padding if you do rest your elbows on there. How soft are those surfaces? Well, we've got our durometer. We've tested the main surfaces in this cabin. If you want to see how this car compares to others that we've tested before, have a look at the link in the description below. Now, build quality. I say this about a lot of Audis. This is very solid. Door test. Sounds excellent. Okay, infotainment, let's talk about that. So you have a 10.1-inch display here in the center of the cabin. Look, the display is fine. There's sort of no dramas with it. It's got the haptic feedback and stuff. But when I talk about the M2 and the A45, they both have significantly bigger screens and I guess newer, more innovative infotainment systems. So this is still fine, but it just feels like it's perhaps a generation behind some of those competitors. On the radio front, you have AM, FM, and DAB digital radio. That's all plumbed through a 15-speaker Bang & Olufsen branded sound system. Normally the B&O stuff's great, but I just didn't think it was that amazing in this car. Maybe it was just because I was listening to a bad audio source, but I thought it could have been a little bit better. You get inbuilt satellite navigation, including satellite overlays, so you can see them there. We're at our test track at the moment. Big old joint. In terms of smartphone mirroring, you have Apple CarPlay. That's wireless, and it actually works really well. It takes up that full screen. Very easy to use, quite high resolution too. Then on the Android front, you have wired Android Auto. Same story again, full screen integration and pretty straightforward to use as well. Head of the driver, you have a 12.3-inch display, and that is Audi's virtual cockpit. You can switch between a couple of different views there and change the context menus in the center. I think they actually do this really well. This is very easy to use and very straightforward, and I'm a fan of how they've put all of that together. Now, safety tech, you have AEB with pedestrian and cyclist detection. This is where it gets a little bit confusing. I mentioned the chip shortages earlier. That is affecting some of the safety features. So it should come with blind spot monitoring built into the wing mirror, radar cruise control with a lane departure warning, lane keeping assistant, and lane centering. You should also have rear cross traffic alert and front and rear parking sensors and a 360 camera. But again, part shortages, some of the stuff will be missing, and as a result of that, the camera isn't 360 here, but I'll show you what the quality looks like for the reverse camera anyway. It's actually pretty decent quality. I can see our suitcase very easily there, and those guidelines move with the steering wheel as well. Then you can see the sonar here for the front and rear parking sensors too, so not a bad setup. Moving on to practicality, and we'll start off with your connectivity. So you've got two USB-C chargers down the bottom here, a wireless charging pad for your phone, a 12-volt outlet there. Now, where are you going to put your phone? So it can live in the cup holders here, and they're adjustable too, so you can whip those out of the way if you do want to store your phone. Or you can pop it down there on the wireless phone charger. What about our coffee cup? So I tried to pop this in here this morning, but the lid catches the edges there, so you're going to de-lid it if you're not careful. But I prop my keys up with it, and it's fine. Position of that's also good. Bottle fits into there without any dramas, but because there are teeth, but they're sort of, yeah, they're kind of in a bit of a weird position. Your bottle will just sort of move around a little bit. Bottle does fit inside the door though, which is good news. Other storage, you have a little slot here just next to the driver's knee for coins, keys, odds and ends. Center console here, pretty tiny, if I'm honest, but that does go forwards and backwards as required. And then finally, you have a glove box down here, which is pretty reasonably sized. Let's talk comfort. So you have dual zone automatic climate control. In addition to that, you have heated seats. The seats should have massage function on them as well, but parts shortages. But in addition to that, they are electrically adjustable, so you can go forwards, backwards. Backrest can go forwards, backwards. You can lift the front, you can lift the back. You can also adjust your bolster, and you have memory for the driver's seat as well. Passenger seat is electrically adjustable as well. I love the seats. Have a look at this. They are so cool. So got this ribbing in the center. You've got RS up the top there. They hug you in beautifully as well, and very comfortable for long distance drives. Steering is both tilt and reach adjustable. It is all manual. And then on the reach test, all of this stuff is easy to reach while you're driving. So back seat of RS3. Not a great deal of room here. There is more room than the A45, which is good, but yeah, knees are kind of nestled into the back seat there. Not a great deal of toe room. Headroom is okay, but if you're any taller, you're going to be rubbing up against the roof. Down the bottom here, you have 2 USB-C slots for charging, air vents, you have map pockets, a center armrest here with 2 cup holders. Bottle fits into there. Maybe this is just a tiny bottle, but it's just going to move around heaps. There are teeth in there as well. Can fit this inside the door too, should you so desire. You have ISOFIX points on the 2 outboard seats and 3 top tether points. Now, what about our window test? So it's auto up and down. You're so close, yet so far. Good try anyway, Audi. Okay, boot space. Let's have a little sticky beak. So powered tailgate, yay. Oh, that is small. So under 300 litres of cargo space available there. You've got a 12 volt outlet just off to the side. Safety kit. Under here, a battery and a tyre repair kit. There is really not much storage space there at all. I'll show you what it looks like with our bags inside. I was actually kind of expecting a bit more room in there than that. Wow, okay. Yeah, fair enough, kind of all fits in okay, but it's, yeah, it's pretty cramped. I'll show you what it looks like with the second row down as well. When we get this stuff out of the way, it actually gives you a little over 1,100 litres of space. So it is better, but still not remarkable. So we have just hit the road in the RS3. I am bouncing around a little bit. Let me pop that in comfort. There we go, that's better. So this has adaptive damping, obviously. Now, before I get into that, let's talk about the engine. So I mentioned earlier on, this is one of my favourite engines. It is an absolute powerhouse, and just everything about it is cool. It makes great noises, it has stacks of punch, and to me it feels a little more, well, a little more under-stressed than the A45, given that that's a 2 litre and this is a 2.5 with an extra cylinder as well. So it produces just under 300 kilowatts of power and 500 newton meters of torque. And that's all mated to a 7-speed automatic transmission. That's a dual clutch. Not a fan of the transmission though. So here in comfort mode, just coming off the line, I have to, it's a bit hard to explain, but I have to kind of really get into the throttle for it to do anything. And then what happens is you overcompensate by pushing it too hard and it lurches forward. So it is just one of those frustrating dual clutch gearbox tendencies, and it can get a little frustrating at times, unfortunately, but I guess it is what it is. It is the cost you pay. The end result of that though is, even in comfort mode, if you sort of get stuck into it, it pins you back in the seat, and that noise is absolutely unreal. So yeah, aside from the jerkiness at low speed, it is actually a good gearbox if you want to stick a whole bunch of power through it. Now, Audi claims a combined economy of just under 9 litres per 100 Ks. We are currently sitting on 11.2. Yeah, so it is obviously much higher, but I have obviously also been going for a fang around our track here this morning, so that has pushed it up a little bit. And look, to be honest, that's actually not too bad. If you're in the realm of V8 territory, like well and truly in the realm of V8 territory in terms of performance and acceleration, I'm quite happy for it to be using more fuel, because that is where the fun factor comes out of this. Now, just in addition to all of those engine specs, because this has the Dynamic Plus package, it will increase top speed from 250 to 290, which I don't have enough room to test that out here today, but pick an Autobahn, a long, nice, decent stretch, and you would be absolutely hoofing along in this thing. Okay, let's crank our speed up to 130. This is the part of our review where we test what this is like on a country road with continuous undulations. We call them the sine waves because that's what they look like. And these are designed to give us an idea of what body control is like at overtaking speed and the maximum speed limit here in Australia. So we're in comfort mode at the moment. Look, predictably that is sitting pretty flat through there, so that's no drama. I'm having to speak up a lot though, and that is because there is so much road noise coming in through the cabin. There is just so much tyre noise coming in through those tyres, and it is infiltrating the cabin, especially on those coarse chip sections of road. So yeah, that is probably something worth keeping in mind, that it won't be the quietest place to be on the highway. Now, I think it's time to go for a little fang. So the annoying thing is the drive select button is all the way down here, and in there you have efficiency, comfort, auto, dynamic, but you have 3 RS modes: RS individual, RS performance, and RS torque rear, which I'll explain a little later on, but I'm gonna go into RS individual, which I've configured for my tastes, and we'll see what it's like around our track here. God, that noise is so intoxicating. Holy shit. It is sticking to the road like glue. Oh. The way it's adding torque through those wheels as we exit the corner is absolutely unreal. Oh man, and these brakes are amazing. So those carbon ceramic brakes up the front really give this just another league of stopping power with virtually no fade. You would have to be going absolutely bonkers to get fade out of those. Wow, this is so fast. Oh my God. I barely have a chance here to look at the camera because it is absolutely hauling. So here comes our back straight. I'll roll onto the throttle, grab the limiter there, but let's stay in this. Wow. Holy crap. I think point to point, this is probably the fastest car we've driven here. The way it piles on power and torque out of a corner is absolutely next level. It has virtually unlimited traction. It is so cool. So basically they've ditched the Haldex system here for the all-wheel drive setup, and what they're using instead of the rear differential is a twin clutch Twinster style system. And the way that it works is you have 2 sets of clutches that can divert up to 100% of torque to either of the 2 wheels on the rear axle. That allows you to do things like sending more torque to the rear to give you better balance and better torque vectoring, because it is a truly mechanical system. But it also means if you do select this RS torque rear mode and you switch stability control off, when you do tip it in and slam the throttle down, what it's actually doing is sending more torque to the wheel that you're turning into. That causes the rear end to step out, and then you can basically just feed the throttle in and drift it nicely. So it is a pretty cool setup, and in my opinion it works incredibly well here. This is colossally quick, and I was not expecting it. The only downside is that when it is in the full bonkers RS setting, and the whole reason I set up RS individual with a softer suspension setup is when you are in the full bonkers setting, it is so firm through a corner. It actually feels like the A45, where it kind of skips over the road as you pile into a corner. The setup that it's in now tapers that off a little bit and gives you a bit more control over the car. But yeah, I am genuinely blown away by this. So let's do some 0 to 100-ing. Audi claims 0 to 100 in 3.8 seconds. Let's see how we go up against the V-Box. So I'm going to put it into RS Performance. That already limits stability control, and all I need to do is hold the foot on the brake, foot on the throttle, and then it will give us our 0 to 100 with launch control. And then I'll also go all the way through to 120 so we can see what our overtake speed is like. So here we go. God, that sounds good. Here we go. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. You can see my second and third chin shaking around there. That is so cool. Wow, 3.7 seconds 0 to 100, so that's quicker than the claim, which I think is pretty awesome. And 80 to 120 in 2.4 seconds. Wow, that is unreal. It's probably one of the quickest cars we've tested, 80 to 120, I reckon. That is stupidly good. I bloody love that. And then I just love the fact that when you do put it in that torque rear mode, it can literally just become a drift pig. It is just the ultimate little hot hatch. I bloody love it. And now it's time for our reverse test. I've left it in RS Performance mode. Let's see how quick it is in reverse. Here we go. All right. Oh, it takes off really fast, but typical sort of Volkswagen product. Speed limited to 30 k's an hour in reverse. Okay, so it is time to test the lane support systems on our banked bowl. So I'm going to put this up to 70 k's an hour, and we will set the speed there, and then I will also switch on the lane support system. All right, that is now set on with lane guidance. So we're going to test the 3 outer lanes and see how well it performs here. So it's doing really well in the bottom lane. Keep in mind you do have to have your hands on the wheel. I've just, for the purpose of the demo, just holding it very lightly to see how it performs. So lane 1 is all good. We'll jump over to our next lane. Okay, and that is now locked in. It's actually doing a pretty good job. It's keeping us away from that left-hand side lane. Awesome, that's great. Let's jump over to lane 3, see how it outperforms up here. Now, some cars don't do all that well up here, so I'll be interested to see if this is in the same boat. Okay, it's all gone green. I'll let go of the wheel. Oh, it's not liking that. We'll try that once more. Okay, that is now locked in. I'll gently let go of the wheel. No, it's not liking that at all. So it is a pass for lane 1 and 2 and a fail for lane 3. So if you want to see how this car compares to others that we've tested, we've got a link in the description below there that'll give you a bit of an insight into that. Now let's talk visibility. So I can see clearly down the front of the car there. The wing mirrors are good, could be a little bit bigger, but you do have that blind spot monitor built into them. Visibility out the back isn't too bad. It's a decent enough envelope there. So the Audi RS3, this thing is so much fun. It is colossally quick, especially point to point. It is like next level. You think to yourself, you're gonna need a big V8 and a big sedan to get fast point to point, but it's all about something as nimble as this that has this huge punch to it. And then in addition to that, they've actually just launched like a higher performance version that'll do 300 kilometers an hour. I mean, it's just clinically insane. Look, it is comfortable enough to drive as a daily, but yeah, the tire noise is crazy. So if you are driving on the highway to visit someone, probably going to do your head and you'll have to crank that audio up just a little bit. But yeah, outside of that, it is an absolute smile maker. And I'd probably buy that over an A45 as well. So let me know in the comments section below. Have you bought one of these? Did you buy an A45 instead? How's it going? Are you enjoying it? Keen to get your feedback. Let me know down there. If you did enjoy this video, please make sure you like it and you share it with your mates. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon. That way you can find out whenever we drive these. But until next time, take it easy.